are really charming. I enjoyed their interaction. I saw it in the pilot. It's fun. I find like what they're saying and everything kind of goes over your head, but they really connect with the audience, I think.
Well, that's right. I mean, I sit there and watch it, and I laugh because a lot of times the comic relief, they're all right, but no, they don't always do a good job, and they're really opening up more to the story of how it's gonna go, especially with this new thing. I mean, this like it says, little molecule can like literally just pick like a 2-ton truck right off the road and toss it. So it's obviously a very dangerous piece of we'll call it equipment, if you want to put it that way. And they kind of left a cliffhanger too, because one of the main scientists who they kidnapped kind of almost decided to work with this guy, and he kind of it looked like he was killed, but it looks like he's going to come back, so they might have like a new character out of this too.
Oh, okay, very sweet. I like the way that they're building the mythology. I think the person who executive produced, and I don't believe he's the showrunner, but Joss Whedon, who of course directed The Avengers, is behind this. And having watched his previous shows, and I know that I'm going to get flamed for this, but I am not a Joss Whedon fan at all. I think he is hugely overrated.
Yeah.
He cannot, his work on these shows, he like the show Dollhouse that he did a few years ago on Fox, he had this really good mythos going, but then all of a sudden it just got ramped up way too quickly, and he tends to like to build things to the world's at an apocalypse. And so I was kind of nervous seeing the show. I was like, well, are they getting to the point where they're going to say that the superheroes were working to the climax of some kind of apocalypse? And I'm not interested in seeing that particularly played out.
Oh yeah, and of course the one thing is most popular for, and I'm not really a huge fan either, because like all the shows he did wasn't interested in, and of course he also did Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
And that was another one. I was like, oh, you know. But the thing is, like, although like he can be way overhyped, like I can say that he's got a good sense of humor, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because it's a cartoon that maybe not too many people know, but it's called Robot Chicken. And Seth Green, as we all knew, Seth Green from Austin Powers, and there's a whole laundry list of movies. Anyways, he co-creates this cartoon, and they were in it. And at one point, they went to see Josh Whedon because Seth Green was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer for like 2 seasons, I think it was. And they go to see him. He goes with his other producer, goes see him for help, and he's like, oh, so you want to enter the Whedonverse, do you? And he's like, wow, you really say that, the Whedonverse?
Yes, his fans, who I've had the privilege to meet a lot of them, they are huge believers in the Whedonverse, and when they are talking about like the whole Buffy Vampire Slayer, they acknowledge it as the Whedonverse, and they talk about the various things that he's come up with are part of the Whedonverse. And I have got from him that he borders on megalomania many times when he like comes to Comic-Con and he's talking to people. And in fact, I remember last year or so, he went to Comic-Con, and there are literally, people out there with tears in their eyes, and he was like, it's okay, I understand you're overwhelmed. I was like, dude, you are below your own height.
Oh my god. That's oh yeah, should you be any more full of yourself? Wow, buddy.
I know, he needs to calm it down a few, quite a few levels.
Well, yeah, no kidding, because there's lots of great directors out there, but you don't hear them talking about themselves like that. Jeez.
Oh, I know. You wouldn't have Steven Spielberg be like, I understand, you need to just calm down and collect yourself. I understand it's just a huge honor to meet me. That would not be something that he would say.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Well, then he must be told, he totally is in his own universe if he thinks that highly of himself, so...
That's just like something I heard. He might be, maybe they just caught him at a bad time, or he was trying to be funny, but I interpreted it in a very vain way.
Yeah, we'll call it a douche move. We'll say that. just because it's pretty much clean and it's funny too. So
Yeah, that works.
so we're gonna get to a song here in just a moment, and this is pretty much kind of runs in with everybody we've been talking about, and it's a very cool band from the UK. And Britt, I'm not sure how much you've heard, well, how many songs you've heard, but we're gonna take a break here and listen to the Dead Sea Navigators, and the song is Actors.
Ooh, sweet.
There's no trickle down, no upside to this that I found. Let go the CO, used an ice pick to move the snow. Dishonest, yeah, and I mean it. More champagne for the actors, dear. More Vaseline for the screen, yeah. More champagne for the actors, dear. Like tie battle cries, break the windows, throwing stones. If you had the nerve, you'd do your shopping underground. Nostalgic for diesel trains, certain to smoke that blew away. Hospitality overload, ignore them, they might go away. Dishonest, yeah, and I mean it. More champagne for the actors, dear. Vaseline for the screen, yeah. More champagne for the actors, dear. Dishonest, yeah, and I mean it. More champagne for the actors, dear. Vaseline for the screen, yeah. More champagne for the atmosphere.
Okay.
All right, that was Dead Sea Navigators with Actors. Just kind of thought it fit in perfectly with what we've been talking about. So let's move into your latest blogs, Britt. What's the most recent ones you've done?
This week I introduced a new section for the new series that we're debuting on TV this fall, which I had already narrowed down like what I was probably going to check out for the fall TV best new bets. But this week I started See It or Free It. So I did a short review of each show. I did the show Betrayal from ABC, Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, The Blacklist, The Tomorrow People, The Originals, and Masters of Sex, which is on Showtime. So then kind of giving a verdict of what you should kind of skip and what is worth your time. So most of these were See It, although some were a little less enthusiastic. But the one I definitely had to say that people should probably skip unless you are ready to take an acid trip is Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. It is absolutely one of those shows that will haunt you when you're not feeling well, and you will dream about this show, and it will feel like you're doing much worse than you might actually be doing. It was just way too fantastical for my taste, and I like exploring different, worlds and everything. But this was just, I felt like I had dropped acid, and it was absolutely horrific. You remember the movie Sucker Punch?
Yes.
Okay, it's basically like Sucker Punch for TV, but they stay in an alternate universe basically the entire time, and it is just the stuff of nightmares.
Really that bad, eh?
Yes, it was absolutely horrible. And then on Betrayal, I said see it. Not the strongest show this season, but it's a short series run, so those should be a beginning, middle, and end. And with James Cromwell on the show, it's worth just seeing to its conclusion. The Blacklist, starring James Spader. This is one of the best shows of the new fall season. I am a huge fan of his, and this show is really just an amazing vehicle for him.
I haven't. Go ahead, continue.
Oh no, I was done.
Okay, all I was gonna say is like I've seen only one episode of Blacklist, but I did like it. Just one of those things that I don't have time to. I got a lot of stuff on PVR, but I don't always get to it when I want to, just because there's so much going on all the time, and a lot of times it's hard to sit down and watch for like 25 minutes, 26 minutes, because obviously you can fast forward through the commercials, which makes things so much easier.
Very true. DVR is so amazing.
But one thing, just on the topic of new shows or just shows in general, one thing I've been thinking more and more about is, because there's like more than like an abundance of them, is all these reality shows, and it's starting to get really annoying. Some of them are good for just kind of like background, kind of like mind-numbing stuff. You don't want to focus on anything, you can sit down and watch these, and it may not be the best thing in the world, but you can just kind of have a mindless 25 minutes on the couch or something. So, but
very true.
Well, it's getting to the point. Some of them, I mean, I'll admit I do watch Big Brother. I'm a fan of Big Brother, so I'll do it.
Okay.
I will admit I watch that. And other than that, the only other reality shows I do watch are Counting Cars and Pawn Stars on History Channel. At least they are in Canada. I mean, they're actually a pretty decent show. Pawn Stars is more like, even if it is set up, I don't really care, just because it's more of a, well, because it is on history, all this stuff comes in. There's a lot of cool history behind it, so you learn all these different things. So it's more worth to watch that, or just to see the stuff that's brought in. There is some comic relief, because I mean, it's pretty much the pawn shop's owned by a guy, his father and his son's best friend works there, who has been in the news a few times, but just for partying stuff. His name is Chumley, and pretty much he's the dumb sidekick, and. So it can be interesting. And Counting Cars, I mean, if you're into cars, that's the best show to watch, because this guy owns a custom shop in Vegas, and he goes around and flips cars. And so you see everything from like, and first time I ever seen one, it was a 67 Corvette T-top, and they only made like 10,000 because they didn't do so well, because they're trying to match the IROC, and it didn't work.
Oh.
And so it was cool to see these cars. But anyways, there's the reason why I brought that up is because, like I said, there's so many. There's American Pickers. There's God's Guns and Ammos. I mean, some just retarded ones. And I just trying to think is where are they going to put the ceiling on this?
I really don't know. Right now, I'm sure you've heard about it. Duck Dynasty, the show about the family who made a fortune off duck calls.
Yep.
That is a huge thing where I live. People are. Everywhere I go out, someone's wearing a T-shirt, someone's wearing a beard, someone's wearing... I feel like the cast is around me all the time now. I have been actually watched the show, but it seems the thing that watches... I don't watch a lot of reality TV. She is the one who keeps me informed on all of that, is the couponer people who go through the grocery store.
Oh my God, yeah.
Coupons. Yes.
Yeah,
and then, I cannot stand. I've seen those people in the grocery store, and believe me, I feel so sorry for their kids, because they're literally in the grocery store for 8 hours, working on this whole thing. And my mother loved the Long Island Psychic.
Oh no!
Oh, that. She came here. Ew. I just, he